the meeting to order at 6 o'clock. And I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of November 10th, 2016.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes of November 10th, 2016, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I abstain.
Chair votes in the affirmative and the minutes pass. All right, then before we go any further, I'd like to read a piece of correspondence that the board received today. It's dated today. It says, Townshend Selectboard, it's with deep regret that I submit my resignation as selectman. Due to my current situation, I find that it would be extremely difficult for me to focus on the duties required of this position, especially with budget work coming up. I truly apologize to the people that supported me on the board, as I certainly didn't accomplish as much as I had hoped. It has been an honor and a privilege to serve the town, and I will continue to serve it in any way that I can in the future. Sincerely, Kit Martin. So I would entertain a motion to accept Mr. Martin's resignation with regret.
So, second.
Any discussion? I'd just like to thank Kit for all the years that he did put into the board, and I'm really sorry that things turned out the way they did this year in particular. So that in mind, all those in favor of accepting Kit's resignation from the select board, signify by saying aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Now, do we want to have Craig post a notice for the vacancy?
Go for it.
If you would be kind enough to put one in the clerk's office and the 2 post offices, I'd appreciate it. What kind of timeline are we looking at?
Your next meeting's on the 13th, and then the 27th is 2 days after Christmas, so.
Any way you look at it, it's bad timing.
3 months and a couple of days till town meeting, so.
Well, just to be
There's
nice.
a certain time that you have to post it anyway.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, where are we time-wise? You know,
I think it's 5 days you have to notice
I
vacancies.
thought it was 10.
Well, maybe it's 10, but yeah, there's a window of time, but I can get it up this week. Probably, I can do it tomorrow probably, but I can certainly get a notice that there's an opening on the select board. Anyone interested, contact the select board member, me, stop in,
Okay.
whatever.
I'd appreciate it if you'd take care of that.
I will.
All right, then moving on to additions and deletions. I'd like to remove from the agenda the VLTC budget proposal, that's number 7 in the correspondence. And I think that's absolutely all I need to do, since we did the letter now.
Right, that was an addition to, yeah.
Okay. Oh, I have VLCT written, so we have something else from VLCT? Oh, delete VLTC, okay. So then moving on to the reports. Highway, Kirk?
Yes, I'll start off with what happened most recent. Today, Mr. Smith accidentally just touched the mirror of a vehicle and it was by with a truck with a wing on it. It didn't break the mirror, it broke the plastic next to the mirror and it just touched the mirror. We submitted an accident report to VLTC, notified the driver, got all their information and stuff like that. It was an accident.
Did you, by any chance, bring us the intake form?
What?
Did you bring the intake form? Because needless to say, it'll be processed through this office.
Yes,
So we'll need a copy of the intake
I
form.
did not have a copy
Okay,
in the office. I did not bring it with me today.
okay,
Bring it tomorrow.
all right. Anything else?
Oh,
Did
yeah.
he not hear it?
It literally broke the plastic. It just, the plastic broke. So, the mirror was here. Didn't know it, didn't hear it. We've been cleaning ditches, been doing a lot of that, trying to get ready for infrastructure inventory, which Alan May called me about. I don't know if Mr. Hunt told you about that. Did you call Alan May?
I did, I left a message for him.
And we never sent the paperwork back into Better Back Roads for the grant for the infrastructure inventory or.
Soon, because I was waiting for the answers on the upcharge, which Craig has now managed to get for me.
Yeah, because nobody knew anything about it when I called it.
You know, like I said, we'll have to discuss what we want to do. That's an awful lot of money. It's just an awful lot of money, even though it's paid for with grant.
But
So,
we do have to get it done, you understand that?
but we don't have to pay somebody to do it.
Pardon me?
We don't have to pay someone to do it, is my point.
Well, if we got the grant, essentially we would just be doing in-house work though. The in-kind work, I think.
Yes, there's in-kind work to it, but, well, that's not the discussion right now. But yes, we have to decide whether or not $8,000 to pay Wyndham Regional is an appropriate amount of money for this particular function.
It is a little bit high.
Mm-hmm.
But I talked to Mark and Megan at VTrans. The RSMS is not what they're set up for. They're grabbing all the information and putting it in their system. And that's the only hiccup I have with Everett is he's using the RSMS thing, and they have a hiccup with that too. That program being used.
Like I said, we'll have to decide which way we want to go with that, now that we have the information as to how much of that is actually part of the upcharge for their overhead.
I asked about that.
Oh, there's a folder that's this thick that explains it if you want to read it sometime. What it's about.
Okay.
Okay?
And the Taft Hill project is the same thing. Alan May for Vermont Better Back Roads hasn't received any of the paperwork for that. And they still have not finished the poll up there either, so.
Well, again, we can't sign, until decisions are made, we can't sign any
Right.
one of those grants.
Right.
There's no point in accepting these grants now, and then 3 years down the road, when they come to audit them, trying to put it back together again and figure out why that paperwork was signed, why they're asking us to run an audit on something we never had in the first place. It's a nightmare. So if we're not going to take the money, there's no point in filing the paperwork.
All right, I got it. There's a snow blower, Ed found on Craigslist. Same as our snow blower, goes in front of our John Deere tractor. Ours is pretty beat up, you know, the sidewalk is a hard job for a snow blower. I mean, since I've been here, this is the second tractor. And he found one on Craigslist. I called the gentleman up, and it's in Connecticut. And I got the price for it. He sent me a bunch of pictures. And then I happened to call Padula Brothers, they're down in Greenfield, John Deere dealer, just to bounce it, to get some numbers from them before I said yes to the guy for the snowblower. And it boiled down to, after a while talking to Padula Brothers, those snowblowers are no longer available for our tractor. It has to be retro new hitch. You know, of course, they can sell you a new one and make it work, you know, or a 3-point hitch one for $2,500, which would be backwards for what we do. This snowblower, the pictures, it looks really nice shape. There's no wear on the original paint on the inside or anything. It's $1,800, and I think we should buy it because our snowblower is, the augers are all worn. You know, everything is wearing down on it. And about 4 years ago, I put the second gearbox in it. It's a snowblower for a driveway that we plow, do sidewalks with. It does take a beating. So I think we ought to buy the snowblower.
Yeah, but you gotta keep them shoes down so you don't keep catching on them.
But it's not just, it's, you know, everything else.
But I say, the cutting edge and stuff will catch hell if you don't keep the shoes down.
Oh, yeah, it's not the cutting edge, because that, you know, we replace that, that's every year, new cutting edge on, just to make sure, you know, the augers are worn
Yeah,
down.
but the cutting edge is also hooked to the blower and it breaks them in the corners a lot of times.
But the augers, well, like I said, the beaters are all worn down, it's just, it's been here either 9 or 10 years, and he's done a lot more work with it now than the old Simplicity used to do, and the John Deere before that, the Simplicity before that.
Where is this snow blower for 1,800?
Terryville, Connecticut.
Where's that?
Know where Bristol is?
Vaguely.
New Britain?
Whatever. But
Right south of Hartford.
they gonna bring it to us?
No, gotta pick it up.
You don't wanna get it with your Ford?
Yeah. Any mileage? It would be the town one time.
So then the question becomes, okay, I do have
Yes.
this, I have it right in front of me,
Mhm.
the check, which
Right.
you asked to be cut because you're gonna go get it tomorrow.
Well, I was gonna ask first, but if we could get it tomorrow, it'd be great.
But I have a real issue with the fact that you're asking for a check for $1,800 and I have got nothing to justify it. I have a check, I have a tax certificate for the town, and I have a warrant asking the select board to sign for an $1,800 check. Why don't we have some kind of a description or one of the pictures, or, so we know what it is that we're buying?
Though I didn't print any of them.
You know, because this is
And
basically.
he did just find it yesterday, I mean, it's not, this hasn't been in the works.
I found it, and that happened today at 2 o'clock, when I finally got a hold of the guy and Elaine and stuff.
I mean, I don't feel comfortable not having some kind of documentation as to what this check is for. I don't know how the rest of them feel, but that's how I feel.
No, it should have documentation what it's for.
Is it a private sale or is it through?
It's through business. It's through business,
Well, I guess we'll talk about it in the,
Well, if it doesn't materialize, that's fine.
well, I'm just, like I
Thought I'd grab
said,
it while they're grabbing it, get on it right away.
when you make a request like this, particularly on something like that, if you could just print out the ad or send the link to Craig so he can print it out, just so there's something to back up the request for a check. Because,
Well, is it something that we could pull up on
It is.
the World Wide Web?
Well, on the internet, Craigslist.
well, we'll move on, you go ahead and
Western Mass.
pull it up.
Western Mass.
Western Mass, Craigslist, farming. Ag.
All right, so is there anything else? Because I've got some stuff that I need to.
No, go ahead.
Okay, then let's talk about the letter we all got from Mr. Marchuk. You all should have copies of that. It's handwritten.
I don't have
Well,
Just
it
it
would-
just came on.
it wouldn't have come to you specifically.
Oh, okay.
It's-
I didn't know if it was granted to me or not.
Well, it does, in a roundabout way.
Okay.
Okay, so this is in reference to Oakwood, Wiswell, and Twitchell cemeteries. And this letter went to all of the people who have property adjacent to a cemetery. And it basically is letting them know that they are responsible for the trees that abut the different cemeteries. And that if in fact one of the trees on their property were to fall on the fence or onto the gates, no, the stones don't count, but the gates, the fence, any of the town property, that in fact they're responsible for, or the homeowners association would be responsible for the damage. And so this is notification to the town as an abutter to that. Now, the one thing that Mr. Marchant did note in here is, there's a large pine by the Wiswell Cemetery. I guess it's massive. That is an issue. Do you know where it is? No, okay. Craig, do you know where it was? The Wiswell, the one Charlie was talking about?
I don't, I haven't been out there, I haven't seen the tree.
Someone recently told me that there was no access to the Wiswell Cemetery anymore.
What do you mean?
Apparently the landowner has fenced it off, so you can't get to it.
They can't do-
Wiswall?
They
Yeah.
can't do that.
Or,
That's on Deer Valley.
yeah, that Wiswall,
Wiswall is on.
It's right on the road.
Off of, it's between Wiswall and State Forest.
No,
No,
you're
no,
thinking,
you're
you're thinking
talking
of the
about this one
Holland,
down here.
Bixby, Holland House.
Okay, sorry.
Had to wash it.
No, that's the
That
one,
one's a
that's the
different-
one
that's
that's
a different
prompt in
issue.
this letter.
Okay, okay.
Okay, and but yes, we need to notify all the abutters to the town cemeteries that if in fact trees from their property fall onto town property and cause damage, that they will be responsible. So in that same grain, we're abutters to Oakwood, Wiswell, and Twitchell. And what Charlie was saying is that the town needs to step up to the plate as well and take care of any trees along those cemeteries that might cause damage to the cemetery property.
But that's if they're in the cemetery right away. You can't go out of the right of way on private property.
No, this isn't us.
No, I mean the cemetery.
All he's,
The
all she's
town or
saying,
anything can't go out over the wall or something and.
you know, we're not saying anything about that. We're saying when the tree falls, no matter whether it's in, if it's not in the cemetery, it's the
Property
budding
owner's
property owner's problem.
Right, and all I'm saying is that right now, we have property that abuts several of the cemeteries, and there are trees that are in question. So the town has an obligation as well to take care of any trees that might be falling onto the cemetery property.
I better differ with you. Because if it's my property, over the other side of the stone wall,
We own the property, Herb. The town owns the
yeah, but
property.
I'm talking about trees, the property owners here, that you don't own the tree on the other side of the stone wall.
No, they own it, and they're being notified
Well,
that they have to, if their trees are in bad shape, they need to come down before they cause damage to the town. If they do cause damage, then their insurance will pay for it.
Yeah,
Is what
no,
they're being
that's
notified.
right. I got no problem with that.
Okay, well, that's what this is saying.
If you've got a tree in the cemetery, then that's up to us, the town to take care of that.
Right.
That's what it's saying, though.
We're just saying, we're trying to establish who's responsible for the tree if it does damage, is what we're attempting to do here. Or what the cemetery commission is attempting to do. Okay, so,
See, these are Massachusetts, there's a New York or something.
No, no, but that's where I found it.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay.
so did we find it?
Oh,
Okay, but this, one thing at a time. But can we take care of any trees that may be identified, Kurt, next to the
Absolutely,
cemetery?
I'd like to talk to Charlie.
And I'm sure he'd be happy to talk to you and point out the ones that he has questions about,
Absolutely.
okay?
Hold it up,
Huh?
hold it up.
It's not there anymore. There's a copy of it. Charlie, it's not on the website anymore.
Okay.
Yes, I will talk to Charlie about these trees, and I'm sure you're aware that it should be no problem for us to take them down if it's just in the woods more or less.
Well, they're, again, it's on our property. The ones he has identified, they're the town property, so there should be no issue whatsoever taking them down.
You know Charlie's number.
I don't, but
I will call him tomorrow.
okay. And then the other issue, and this is one that is not going to, it doesn't involve tonight's warrants, but it's going to, on the call out on Sunday to get the plows ready for the storm.
I plowed and salted Sunday, yes, and I called the guys in to get everything ready.
The issue isn't so much with that as it is with the fact that you evidently called at 9:15 in the morning,
Yes,
okay?
yeah, roughly, yeah. I went in and checked roads early, and then I went back to the shop and called in.
Okay. Because Bob came in at 10.
Bob came in 10 because we couldn't get a hold of him.
Okay.
And
Well,
left the message.
the point is, the way it's,
Ed got started on it, right?
the way Ed put it on his timesheet, and this is a problem from the time card standpoint,
I think he screwed up when he put it on there, didn't
he says called at 9:15, which implies
he? Yep.
that he expects us to pay for him to come to work.
Well, if you look at the board, that labor board book there, that's what it says.
Well, you know what then?
Well,
Then
then why doesn't he stay home?
we're not going to be pulling him in anymore, because quite frankly, there's nothing in the policy, and we don't pay you and we don't pay Bob for 30 extra minutes or 15 extra minutes to get in your car and get to the town garage. That doesn't make any sense. And he still didn't clock in. If that was the case, why didn't he punch in and just put notification at or something to that effect? The fact that he's putting called at 9:15, how long does it take him to come to work?
Probably 15 or something like that.
Didn't we cross this avenue like a year and a half ago?
I don't remember.
I think we did, when he asked about getting paid to be on the clock or waiting, you know, when there's a suspected snowstorm. he wanted to get paid to stay at home and wait for a phone call.
Oh, yeah, that was that.
Yeah, well, ding, we're kind of getting back to the same thing. And it's like, if he wants to get paid to work, we're more than willing to pay him to work, but we're not gonna pay him to drive to work or pay him to eat a sandwich or any of the other stuff. I mean, this is just common sense, like you're paid to work, not paid to get ready to go to work or tie your boot or anything else. And it's like, if we gotta keep going over this with somebody time in and time out, it's like, you know, it's kinda like stubbing your toe every single day.
I mean, the one saving grace is the fact that there wasn't 40 hours worth of work that week, so it's not overtime,
Mhm.
which is one saving grace to that. But yes, I think we need to clarify it for everybody, because if from here on out, anytime you have a snowstorm or whatever, if Ed is going to expect to be paid from the time he's notified until he gets to work, then we need to be aware of that.
I never, all the places I've worked over the years, they never paid me to come to work.
I've never been paid to actually drive to work, but
Well, you get 2 hours for the call out automatically. Some call outs don't take 2 hours, but if you're called in special, you get the 2 hours. But if you're coming in to plow, then you punch in, because it's gonna be more than 2 hours, you know.
I just would like to clarify so everybody knows what to expect.
And I was wondering if it was really needed to have all three guys on Sunday.
Well, I wanted the trucks ready, because Friday was supposed to rain, and then Sunday, when I went out that morning, they were calling about 1 to 3 inches. If we got 3 inches of snow, we would have had to plow. And we've been ditching with the trucks, and we took the winds off the trucks, and I wanted the trucks ready for Monday morning early. So you pay them then, or you pay them Monday morning, so.
Well,
Damned if you do, damned if you don't. So what am I gonna do? I made a decision to get the trucks ready. We didn't need it, but I made that decision to get them ready, so we had them ready.
I just hope that we don't get 16 hours for three guys for 2 or 3 inches of snow for every storm throughout the year.
We won't, well, if we have to plow for the whole town,
Well, I just hope this year that we don't just keep in the same pattern that we were in last year, where it was like a little storm and it would just morphed into like a full onslaught.
it all depends how long the storm is.
Well, I think that you guys live right here. You can go home at the same time and come back. I mean, it doesn't really pertain to what happened on Sunday, but
But Rob, I know you plow driveways, but it's not the same. If we plow 2 inches off, and it snows another 2 inches, by the time we get that 2 inches off on our end of our route, which is pretty much 3.5, 4 hours later just plowing, and then the other 2 inches is falling on where we started, we have to go back to plow it off.
well, my Brattleboro mathematics say that that 3 to 4 hours to cover your route, if you did it twice, that would bring you to 6 to 8. That's all my point is.
Right, and then we have to say,
Okay, well,
which is
be that as it may,
probably 12, that's another 3 or 4 hours.
if we could just clarify that point, because
will, no
I'm
doubt.
not really, I've not seen that before on the time cards. So I need that clarified as we move into the winter season with the plowing. So then moving on, the Plumb Road bank stabilization grant. Do you want us to sign this, or can we just put this one to bed until they move the pole?
Put the Betsy move the pole, I told Alan May they haven't taken care of everything yet, so.
Okay, so that one is literally just waiting for that pole to be moved out of the
The
way.
guy wire, yeah, and they still have a wire, the telephone company has a wire on it, and now there's, yeah.
Okay. And the network inventory grant, you all have been, I don't know, if you caught the very beginning of that. We have a grant for $8,000 to do the network inventory. And the suggestion has been made that Wyndham Regional will do that for the $8,000, and that's the entire cost of the project, is the $8,000 plus whatever labor the town, the gas, et cetera,
That's our matching, right.
our matching piece to that. We do have a grant for it, for that $8,000. The question becomes,
You haven't accepted the grant for it.
right, and I said we do have a grant.
Right.
Do we want to accept it and sign the grant as something we want to do?
Wasn't there another guy that was gonna?
it was Everett Hammond, and evidently there's an issue with the software used for mapping.
Yes.
So we can't do it.
It's a big problem for VTrans. I talked to VTrans.
And did you check with VTrans to see if they did it? Wasn't there some suggestion that Dale mentioned that VTrans actually?
They're gonna help Wyndham Regional. They
Okay,
have,
so we're paying Wyndham Regional to do.
Wyndham
this.
Regional updates the maps basically
They
for free because we pay to be in the
Right.
district.
they're gonna be plotting the stuff. VTrans has that, stormwater, wastewater, whatever, water person. They got the micro watersheds in town.
Hydrogeology.
Yeah, whatever I think it is. And, yeah, it's a collaboration to get this Clean Water Act material done for the Clean Water Act.
Well, I talked to Jeff, and what he indicated from Wyndham Regional, Jeff Nugent indicated he'd come out and ride around with you and get out of the truck and look in the culverts to see if they were plugged or needed work. That doesn't seem like something we need to pay them $8,000 for.
That's not what this inventory is.
And having a
That's-
GPS to mark them, I mean, they're already all
No,
marked
no.
on the state maps. as to
I
where they are.
understood this infrastructure inventory was totally different. It was ditches, bridges,
Well, the state does the bridges.
Water beds.
It is the ditches, and it's to look for
Riverbeds,
areas
stream
where
beds.
there's hydrogeological, but then they'll only advise that you need to get an engineer in to look at the geology. I'm not real sure what it is, but I had him clarify that they would do it it wouldn't exceed the grant. That the federal portion was inside the money that they would actually bill, and it wouldn't exceed the grant, and if it went over the $8,000, they'd somehow pick up the pieces, because they get grants to assist the towns as well.
because Megan, our engineer, our regional engineer,
Yep.
she was just up there the other day for the tie up the rest of the Irene stuff. Yeah, we talked about what this whole, it's for the Connecticut watershed and Lake Champlain, to protect those watersheds.
Yeah, isn't it lovely that we're protecting their watersheds when we can't even get anybody to come clean the dam? Isn't that just amazing? I'm not
All
there.
that silt is protecting the Connecticut River watershed.
I see it. Okay. I'm glad it
It's
has a purpose.
sedentable.
Okay, glad it has a purpose. Thank you very much.
Gotta go somewhere.
So again, right back to the question, is this something that we want to sign off on, this $8,000 grant to do
Hey,
this?
if we don't, we've been dragging our feet.
If
we
we
can't-
lose 10% of any future grant,
Yeah, that's right, but I say we've been dragging our feet on this thing, and if we don't do something, get it up to,
and we have to do it because we accepted the statutes for the state for
yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying, you know, so that we don't lose the next time,
I've been
with
pushing
paving
this.
bids or anything.
And if FEMA, this is so also the corresponding what FEMA does too, the feds. Because if we don't do this, we have not accepted the state mandates, which in turn we won't receive federal money.
Make the motion if we can,
But Wyndham Regional doesn't have an engineer,
No, they don't.
so what expertise do they bring to the table?
They're just plotting this out. That's why VTrans has their microshed hydrogeologist, whatever you want to call them.
So they're just GPSing in the coordinates and giving an estimate of the length and the size of the physical.
They have to put their feet on the ground and use a map that is given by VTrans and the water.
Go ahead, Eric. Start again.
I make the motion we accept the grant and get this network, work inventory thing done, and so we don't lose money down the road. We 2-for-1 paving money or any of that.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion on it? Hearing none, all those in favor of accepting the $8,000 network inventory grant, signify by saying aye.
No,
Opposed, abstentions, motion passes. And then moving on to the next one, the Plumb Road one we will hold though.
Hold on to this.
Yes, because that makes no sense if that work doesn't get done.
Do you want me to call Alan tomorrow?
I told him I'd give him an update, you can do it if you want.
Okay.
He knows you. But I said we'd let him know after,
I
or
don't know.
try to let him know.
Knowing the state people, I'm sure they took more off. So.
He has an answering machine, he has an answering machine, yeah.
But we have to get that signed and in with a certificate of insurance also.
Yep.
let's sign. That's 1 out of 2, so that would come off the agenda. Okay, we'll put that back on the clipboard, because I'm not done with that. All right, so is there anything else that you had?
I got a question.
Yes.
How come right up on 35 where you put that new blacktop? Is it one place for the barber shop on the right-hand side? Jesus Christ, it's blocked off. Somebody gets in there and it's gonna wreck them.
I've been telling Mr. Hunt, I need flaggers. Because it's class 2 road, I need some flaggers. I want to fix the shoulders, do the shoulders on the road. That's part of my plan for the blacktop. I know it's getting later and we have to do something. I agree with you.
Liability part of it's pretty goddamn important. Because somebody comes and sees it's like they've left it, you'll be liable. Town.
Okay, so I guess that's all we have for you then. You have nothing else for us, then we'll move on.
You done with me?
I think so. You can call in the morning and find out about what happens with with that chat
Yeah.
when we get to the warrants.
Or could you call me tonight? Because I'm gonna get it. I'd like to get it.
Number. What's your number down there?
In my house?
Yeah.
Oh, 365-9764. No, my number.
I can call the state police and get you paged at 2 o'clock in the morning when we get out of here.
So,
Or I can call you at your regular number, like a message from Shelley.
so then we'll have Joe sign this tonight if it does pass, so that you've got the paperwork. But from
Okay.
now on, if you could just make sure we get some kind of a description
Certainly.
of what we're buying, that would help. Okay?
Very good.
Thank
Have a
you.
Good Thanksgiving.
You too.
Charlie. Charlie.
All right, law enforcement, we had nothing but a bill. Town clerk, you all saw the counter money. You put a slip in. Treasurer, Joe.
In your close department, you have $1,010,095.87, and in the checking account, we have $30,010. And I got some big ones to go now to be deposited.
I'm not sure I didn't sign the copy. I'm not sure which
You
one.
want this?
No, I'm just trying to figure out what Craig's done to me here. That's the copy. Is this the original? That must be, it doesn't say copy. Okay, then the other thing that I need to, is Plumb Road. I have too much paperwork here. All right.
I didn't do it.
Craig and I did meet with, one of the CPAs from Pieciak Company, as per our last meeting discussion. And we can in fact engage them, and do have an engagement letter here, for their services to come in and clean up the books from July 1st, 2015 to October 31st, 2016. The rate will be somewhere in the vicinity, well, it's huge window, but will range between $65 and $135 an hour to fix the issues.
Why such a range?
Because the people, well, I can explain it or she can explain it, but there are people that will visit here who are just general accountants that'll do the legwork. There are bigger people there that'll actually crunch the numbers that get paid more. There's a huge differential in company payments,
And it's,
depending on who's doing the labor.
and it says you will also be billed for out-of-pocket costs such as travel, etc. So we will be paying this person to travel back and forth from Brattleboro as well. That was a relatively good meeting that we had. There was a lot of understanding about what was wrong, what needed to be corrected, no estimates without actually getting into the guts of the books to know how long it was going to take. But that was the only recommendation that we could get from McSally McCoy to have someone come in and help with this process. So if you want to move forward on that, we need to sign an engagement letter tonight and get it back to Pieciak's tomorrow.
They can probably, hopefully send somebody up next week to begin the process.
After
We
that.
didn't take any evidentiary information in with us. They will send through a list of things that they want, and hopefully we can get those produced.
Make a motion to sign the engagement letter.
Wait. Oh, okay, go ahead. So he made a motion to sign the engagement letter. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, now Bob.
I know nothing about this issue, but I'm just thinking off the top of my head, have we touched base with the local folks, Adrian and Adrian?
I think everybody has been touched
Okay.
base with it at one point
Okay.
or another.
'Cause it-
And just to clarify what's going on, McSally McCoy, who was
Independent
contracted to come down and do the annual audit for last year, came down, they spent 3 days, I believe it was, here, and were unable to complete the audit. So we're trying to correct the measures, take corrective measures. All right, so the motion on the table is to sign the engagement letter. There's been seconded. Any further information? Discussion? Then all those in favor of signing the engagement letter with Pieciak and Company signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
I've seen.
Okay, then the chair votes in the affirmative, the motion passes. Okay, are you gonna wanna get a copy of this? And I will make sure it gets dropped off at their office tomorrow. All right. Then the warrants.
Okay. Make a motion to approve warrant report number 112201.
Just
Warrant. Payroll check warrant report number 1. The amount of $8,779.09.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of paying payroll warrant payroll warrant number 1 in the amount of $8,779.09 signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes.
Make a motion to approve check warrant report number 2 for payroll taxes in the amount of $3,446.90.
Is there a second? Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of paying payroll tax warrant number 2 in the amount of $3,446.90 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes.
Make a motion to approve check warrant report number 3 in the amount of $4,229.25.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
General fund?
Yes.
Time general fund.
Hearing none, all those in favor of paying general fund warrant number 3 in the amount of $4,229.25 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes.
Make a motion to approve check warrant report number 4 out of the highway fund in the amount of $1,224.60.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of paying highway warrant number 4 in the amount of $1,224.60 signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes.
Make a motion to approve check warrant report number 5 out of the town equipment fund in the amount of $1,182.97.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of paying equipment warrant number 5 in the amount of $1,182.97 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes.
Make a motion to approve check warrant report number 6 out of the town equipment fund in the amount of $1,800.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? This is that snow blower attachment.
Yeah, I like some sort of,
It's no longer online.
yeah, I mean, if it was online, I'm fine with seeing it, but some sort of print off description of it, so it's not just,
Any other discussion?
yeah.
Okay.
I don't believe we ought to hold that check until we see what it's like, see the description.
Rob, do you have anything to say about it?
No.
No?
I mean, if it's, it's one of those catch-22s. If we wait and then it's sold, then what good's that? But I do,
The point of the check was he was gonna have to look at it. He didn't have to buy it when he got there. I mean, it's a long way in Connecticut. I mean, it's western Connecticut, but it's a long trip. That's a, half a day on the road.
Let's see what it was gonna say.
But Ed called me yesterday to say that he found it on Craigslist, and Clerk came in today and asked, or called today and asked if we could cut a check, and I said, well, if you're not gonna go till tomorrow, we'll put it on the warrant, we'll cut the check, Joe could sign it tonight, and he could have it tonight, or if it was done before he left, or we can get it to him in the morning or something, but
No, he's looked at it.
No.
they've looked at it online. It's on the computer, but it's no longer there. It's gone. And I don't know if Kurt agreed to buy it and the guy took the posting down, or whether it's already sold. I mean, I'm looking at all kinds of things online. I looked a few minutes before you guys showed up. I can't find anything in the price range. It's all $250 to $900. For $1,800, $2,000, you can get the tractor to go with it. I mean, but whatever. I don't know exactly what it looks like or how it's described or what they found. But apparently it's not there anymore, which you'd want to verify before you took a 2.5-hour trip in a truck.
Okay. Any other further discussion?
I'd be more concerned about them messing around looking online during the work time than I would be of spending $1,800 on a snowblower. But
Yeah.
Okay. So, all those in favor of paying equipment warrant number 6 in the amount of $1,800 signify by saying aye. Opposed?
Opposed.
Abstention? Huh.
Well, I want to know more about it. I want to know, is one guy driving down there? It's are we sending 2 guys or?
I'm on the big truck.
Yes, Bob.
Okay, so you were opposed and Irv abstained, so it doesn't really matter how you and I vote, Rob. The motion is defeated for lack of a quorum. Right? Irv abstained.
You can't have a positive or you could have a negative. I mean, if both
Right,
of
you
you
could not have
oppose.
a positive.
Right, you can't have a positive.
So the motion is going to fail for lack of a quorum.
FYI, I bought a used snow blower, a front mount, about 8 years ago. They're very expensive. $1,800 is cheap, especially if it's in good condition.
But we don't know that, that's
Yeah,
kind of the
yeah.
point.
Yeah, and I'm fine spending $1,800, I just like to see
What we're
some
buying.
substantiated evidence.
I spent more than twice that, and I immediately had to put work into it myself. I mean, that's a great price if it is in fair condition. And mine does a 1/4 mile dirt driveway, and I've had it for 8 years, and it's still in good condition. So I don't know why using it on sidewalks speeds it up so much, but that's neither here nor there.
What are you driving it with? Your Kubota?
Yeah, a little 30-horse tractor.
Well, maybe we could contract you to come down and do the sidewalks.
Where do I sign?
Okay, so that seems to be the end of that discussion.
Well, what are we gonna do about it then? I mean, we gotta take care of the sidewalks. Are we gonna have them fix the old one, or are we just gonna say screw it and have them drop the wing and they could do the
There you
sidewalk with the
go.
wing?
And with the cars too.
Do the whole show?
You didn't say the old one wasn't broken, it was just in poor shape.
Well, the tractor, it's a 1987 tractor. with a snow blower on
Yeah,
it. I
but
mean,
you're in
things-
1957, so,
I'm just saying.
well,
I'm just saying, that it's a, I don't know. It's just all of a sudden. We stopped using it in March, so that all I did was look at the, prepare for winter.
You see,
Now
that's
it's
what-
Thanksgiving.
That's what bothers me.
It's Thanksgiving
If
and we're
it's
just,
not advertised, he told me to take it, and then he goes down and buys the damn thing, and there's something wrong with it.
well, my
It's
concern,
better today.
my concern is that if it was on there today and they were looking at it, and he got the phone number and the address and the business, and I got Elaine to write up a check for you guys to sign. If it's no longer on there, Kurt either agreed to buy it or somebody else bought it. So if he agreed to buy it and the guy took it offline, now, obviously, you guys aren't gonna approve that, somebody's gotta call him back up, they'll put it up for sale. If somebody else already bought it, it's a moot point, you don't wanna sign the check and have Kurt drive all the way down there to. So I don't know, again, this isn't anything else, you're gonna make a business arrangement, let me make it and I'll keep it clean, but,
I realize we'd be in deep trouble if something happens to the one we've got.
well, you can buy a walk behind for not much, you can have either of mine. I know,
So, again,
Joe does most of the shoveling anyway.
I would withdraw my extension and, but he wants to look at it, make sure it's in damn good shape.
Well, my guess is that if
it's still alive.
if it's not worth $1,800, I think he'll drive back here and tell you, look, you just, put 5 hours into wages for him to drive down there for nothing. But, I don't think he'd waste the money on it.
I don't know.
Well, I don't either.
Yeah, that's something that bothers me.
Right. I mean, I know when we bought the compactor, it was an online thing. He had, I think his son, was it his brother or somebody found that over in New York. It seemed to be in pretty good shape. We sent Joe over there with Kurt to look at it, but Joe went with a check in his pocket. Essentially, the authority to buy it. Didn't have to. It was based on the assessment, if it's any good. But basically, Joe, had the authority to buy it on the spot.
Yeah.
That wasn't a lot of money, all things considered, given what we got.
well, and I think Rob also had a very valid point, is I would like to know who's going to get it. Are we paying 2 people's wages to drive to Connecticut tomorrow? That's a very valid point.
You have
That
3
shouldn't
people
be.
making different wages. I mean, it depends on who you send as to how much it costs.
I don't care who
Well,
Yeah,
goes.
but it-
If you're paying 2 people to ride in a truck down,
I don't think you need 2 people, as long as the guy has a loader he can put it in the back of the truck.
so do you want to, is that what I'm hearing now, is we want to
Yeah,
reconsider
but if
the
we gotta
motion?
get it for sale, he's gotta have a way to load it.
They're not gonna have to lift it up, I imagine it weighs
Oh, all right.
500 pounds.
That's what I'm saying, what?
I'm sure it's a business, I'm sure they're gonna,
It don't take 2 guys just to ride down to Connecticut either.
well, it does if you're stopping for lunch.
Yeah.
All right, so am I hearing that we want to reconsider that motion?
Somebody has to navigate.
Okay, well then, somebody needs to resubmit,
Well, you actually never finished the vote.
yeah, we did.
You had discussion, well, you had 1 opposition, 1 abstention, which made but you guys didn't vote,
I'm
whatever.
for going and getting it. I'm just not, I'd like to know a little more about it. And I'm not so sure how many snow blowers are gonna be sold on Thanksgiving week. Is this something that, we could, does he have to go tomorrow? Is it, I don't know how much of a demand there is on the eastern seaboard for.
The town of Townsend could make a commitment to buy something 2 weeks out. I can call the guy and say, hold it, the check is in the mail. There's no problem. You can tell, we're gonna come look at it and buy it. If it's on the open market, as it is on the internet, everybody in New England's looking at it, it's first come, first served kind of thing, and I would think that you probably wanna go get it. There's no weather coming tomorrow, the crew doesn't have anything to do.
No, not
Take
the
the wings
crew
off.
doesn't have anything to do. Okay, again, so we didn't finish the vote, so let's start all over again, because I'm not sure who's doing what to whom.
Sure appears that it probably would be it.
You find it?
Looking at the street view of the business, and they said tractor just like ours with a yellow snowblower in the front of it.
Is it?
Oh,
It just wasn't on Craigslist anymore. It's on their specific.
It's on their website, they have a website?
That's like,
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, I looked up the company.
Yeah.
They don't have a website. This is a Google Maps street view looking at the business, and it happens to be a green John Deere tractor just like ours.
Sitting out front.
Ironically, in much better condition with a snowblower on the front.
Okay.
One would assume that would be
They're
a
selling the
snowblower
snowblower
for sale.
separately then, which is fine.
All right, so let's try this again. Now that we've seen a picture of it, we know that the business exists. If the check's not just going to Connecticut all by itself. All those in favor of, let's see, it was warrant number 6 for the equipment fund in the amount of $1,800, signify by saying aye.
Alright,
oh,
All right,
Opposed?
one person goes to get it.
yes.
with one going to get it.
Abstentions with the caveat that only one person goes
Can I
down
make
to
that?
get it. I don't know, you have to ask. You can't drive the one down, I don't think they'll let you have it.
It's like in a pickup truck, it'll fit in a pickup truck.
Okay, so the motion passes, and Joe, as soon as we get done signing this, we will hand you a check. If you can make sure that it gets signed so that Craig can call Kurt and,
Well, Joe can call Kurt right now
oh, that's true. Cause he
and
can't,
tell him where he's gonna leave the check so that,
right, it's going south anyway, right?
I mean, it's not even 7 o'clock, Kurt hasn't had dinner yet.
All right,
Okay, so it carries.
yes. Now, Bob, I'm sorry, in all the confusion, you've gotten lost.
I'm always lost.
Bobby is lost, I was gonna offer that. The one on the bottom.
My normal state of confusion.
And I was gonna say, did you have something for us tonight? Okay. And then, under correspondence, we received a lovely little letter somewhere in this disaster.
SnoGoers.
Wyndham Solid Waste, right over there. From Wyndham Solid Waste. And rather than reading this letter, which isn't gonna make any sense out of context, I'll let Herb explain what happened at that meeting. And then I'll fill in what the letter says.
Well, the town of Bradford for one, and all the towns that, don't have transfer stations, was hollering about their assessment. So originally, they wanted to change it from,
You wanna call him?
50% according to, grand list and 50% per capita. It's always been per capita according to the amount of
You're
registered
gonna
voters.
give him that.
And,
Yeah, or you're gonna leave, you can call him.
they went back and forth, I don't know, for half an hour. Somebody made, I don't, but it was, the chairman down there, he made their motion that they put a 20% surcharge on these towns that have transfer stations. Which raises ours about $3,500, a little over $3,500.
What's that cover?
Hauling the recyclables.
So the proposed budget is about I don't have it in front of me, it's about 21,000. That includes a $3,500 surcharge, which is basically for transportation to come up here and get the recycling. The 17,000 and change is for our membership in the district to cover essentially their business costs, their labor, their salaries, and the cost of actually doing all the business that they do.
Yeah.
The surcharge covers the transportation to come up and pick up the bins. They're up here at least once a week, if not more than that.
What it has been, well, it would have been if it wasn't for that surcharge, was 17,777.
Right.
And with the surcharge, it comes out to 21,332. So it's about a little over $3,500. I brought that up the other night, but I get outvoted. Just to, to present that budget.
Well, you weren't yelling loud enough.
Well, just in,
Brattleboro's got 6 votes, you see.
just in the interest of throwing something out there for discussion purposes, there should be no reason that we could not look in for $3,500 to be able to move the recyclables, that we couldn't look into the cost of a separate hauler to do single stream and come up and pick up from our transfer station and not pay to have Wyndham Region, or Wyndham Solid Waste come up and actually get the recyclables. We could certainly look to see what it would cost to contract with a private carrier to do so.
Yeah.
That's one way of making our displeasure known. You know, the fact that we won't pay the $3,500, we'll pay somebody else to do it instead.
You're still gonna spend
But in other words,
17,
you go to single
7.
stream instead of dual stream.
Which is what the people that are picking up, they're all doing single stream.
It's still gonna cost you 17,777 to be in the district,
Right.
but you get nothing for it.
Whoa!
Well,
wait just
I'm
a
sorry,
minute.
you do- yeah, you
There's
do.
more stuff there than you realize.
Yeah, I do,
Your
I did,
hazardous waste and all that stuff.
yeah, I realize.
There's
and
quite a lot
I
of
can-
stuff there.
Yeah, I can go in and put a sticker on.
Don't
my
say
car
we
and
don't
take
get
them.
nothing.
Well,
That education of the schools,
yeah,
over here to the grade school stuff, and the middle and grade, they did,
yeah,
done educational courses with them, and that's all part of that 1777.
What type of educational courses is Wyndham Solid Waste giving in the schools?
On this recycling and all that stuff.
Teaching them
You'd
how to
be
recycle?
surprised how many kids
I thought we,
get home and keep after the folks about, well, you're not recycling this, you're not recycling that. It's all something that they've been,
their parents tell them to shut up and get in the room.
Anyway, do we want to consider looking into the cost of having a dumpster brought up for the recyclables and what it would cost? We're gonna have to have Craig look at the tonnage that moves, but what it would cost to have that, a private hauler take it away.
Can we just bury it
Yes.
We do wanna do that. So we,
I
somebody
think
make a
it's worth
motion,
it.
somebody make a motion for
I'd
that
make a
effect.
motion to
Explore.
explore the cost of an alternative company besides Wyndham Solid Waste.
you're gonna have a couple dumpsters, because if they take one out, you're gonna have an empty one to drop.
We're just investigating it. We're not
Yeah,
signing.
no,
a
no, but I
contract.
say, that's one of the things you got, if you're gonna investigate, you just gotta tell them that.
Yeah.
No, I'm not hollering because you didn't, but I say, you're gonna have to replace one with an empty. Because if you don't, you'll have stuff all over the goddamn ground up
We
there.
already do.
Still do.
We already do. It's not as bad as it was, but we already do. All right, so all those in favor, was there a second to that motion? Okay. All those in favor of exploring the costs associated with having a private hauler take their recyclables away, signify by saying aye.
Right.
Opposed, abstentions? So is that something that you can do after the
I can
holiday?
sort, yeah, I'll talk to some people, we'll see what we can find out. Try to
Find
put some
out
numbers-
what
put some
our
numbers on the
tonnage is.
If
table.
you got, Bob said if you got, Spencer said if you got any questions, you can call.
Oh, no, I talked to him at length today.
Oh, did you?
Not about that in particular, because this is something they asked us to do back in September, was to find out what it would cost to have a private hauler do this.
Right.
We didn't do that because it's convenient to have them do it, but that was before a 20% surcharge on top of
The assessment.
the assessment.
Fairly good size increase in the assessment.
Yeah. It's,
I mean, I appreciate having Wyndham Solid Waste, because the assessment is high enough.
Oh, then, right, then moving on, I just wanna make note that we finally closed out the FEMA grant on East Hill, and it was East Hill and
East Hill and
the dam.
Yeah.
So that ERAF money is now
And
on
we're-
its way. There's
Oh,
a
for
check in the mail.
That COVID, huh?
No, it wasn't the,
Yes,
for the
the
culvert at the
culvert.
dam,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
That's the
I see.
final state payment on the closeout for
Well, I see
that.
they were looking at it here last week.
That's probably the Army Corps, because we had to sign a
No,
permanent
Kurt
easement.
was over there.
Kurt, Bostrom?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, he was talking to some guy there. Didn't they have to come up with some paperwork on it?
No, it's all done. There's a survey that
We
was
had to
done.
do a survey.
The survey was into the Army Corps, because the temporary easement had to become a permanent easement. That was taken care of last spring. The Army Corps has been busy about getting the permanent easement, but everything we needed to do was basically done. And we contracted the survey work out. It's still not complete, but that's because Waltham or wherever they are, the Army Corps has held that up in issuing that. far as I know, everything out there is taken care of. But anyway, the state is providing the 27,000 they owe us on that, plus the 7 or 8 or 9 or whatever it is for
East Hill.
East Hill.
And I thought I could, so, well,
Oh, I
I
looked at
didn't, I wasn't right there, but I went by that.
Yeah, I
Well, not by that road, I went up by the
Yep.
State Forest Road in West Hill, and
Yep.
I thought it looked like him, but it may not have been.
Well, maybe there's
There's two people there anyways.
could be doing part of the network inventory he's working on.
All right, moving on. Under new business, we have the West River SnoGoers request, and that's to use the town roads. You have a copy of that in your, I believe you have a copy.
And I don't believe it changed.
You've got a problem with some of this.
It's sawdust alley along the top and sides of the snowbanks, over hill, entire length down Route 35, Peaked Mountain to cross by the Fletcher residence, Riverdale Road to cross by Greenwoods, Taft Road to cross by the Ryan residence, by Barnum residence and below Burby Lane, Acton Hill to cross by the power lines in the old hippie house.
I took the old Ada place.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's kind of an old hippie, aren't you?
Simpson Brook Road to cross by Charles residence driveway, Back Wyndham Road to cross about 200 yards south of Taft Hill Farm, and Deer Valley Road to cross by the power line. We also request permission to use the following roads that are not plowed in the winter. That would be East Hill, southern end above Harmonyville from Holt Farm to the bottom of the hill, and Ellen Ware, the entire unplowed section. That's the request.
And as I say, I'd have to look back, which is easy to do, but I don't believe this has changed from last
Okay,
year.
it's a little different than the last time.
Which part?
Pretty sure. I didn't see anything different, but I talked to Blake Church, or,
But that number 6, where they cross an Acton Hill Road.
Grass tracks at that point.
No, that was the last year.
across the
Huh?
That
power
was in
lines.
the last year.
Acton Hill only goes as far as the power line, just to cross the power line.
Yeah, so that's Joy Brook or
That-
something?
No,
Up there? No,
Acton
sorry.
Hill goes back down to the Grafton Road.
Yeah,
So they basically got it wrong, it's supposed to be Jordan Hill.
Jordan,
Instead of
that's right,
Acton
yeah.
Hill.
Well, that, or they want to cross Simpson Brook Road.
I think we got the gist of what they want.
So I didn't have a clue, so that's
Yeah,
fine.
it's up by the old.
Yeah, it's
Daignault
Jordan.
place.
Jordan.
Jordan Road?
Jordan Hill Road.
That's up by the hippie house.
Yeah.
But the other one, is all the way till you get to where you go to Glenza's or go out that way is Simpson Brook, all the way from up there and, Simpsonville, all the way through to the power line.
So we
Between
can,
the two power lines.
we can clarify that to be Jordan Hill Road, easily enough. If, when you guys, if you decide you're gonna sign it, approve it.
I make a motion to accept the
West River SnoGoers.
West River SnoGoers request to use the aforementioned roads
Seconded.
With the correction on,
of Acton Hill to Jordan.
Okay,
Approve, correct action for Jordan.
yeah. Is there any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the request of the West River SnoGoers Snowmobile Club. That's hard to say. Signify by saying aye.
All right.
Aye.
Opposed?
I understand because with the way they've got it written up, down with Mike Childs at Simpson Brook Road.
Irvin, if they ride up and down the road, on the road, off the road, in the woods, it's, you know, it is what it is. Stay off the pavement.
Somebody gets hit, and they come back on you because it doesn't say anything, there should be no snowmobiles on Simpson Brook Road.
Whatever.
Anyway, the motion passes with one abstention.
I'll give Kate a call.
Again, it's that time of year, and now we're short a member at some point in time, need to start looking at the budget. We do have the listers budgets in, the highway budget is in, the fire department, was it the fire department budget? Who else's budget's already been put
We
in?
don't have fire department, we have planning commission, we have
Planning commission.
listers. You've received copy of highway proposed. I don't know, maybe something else, that's all I know about right now.
So what's your pleasure as far as getting down to work on this budget? And again, I know it's very difficult to even talk about budget because we don't know where we even finished out last year since they haven't been able to finalize the numbers for 16, but we still have to have something to present.
I have copies. VTrans. That's the contract.
Oh, that's the contract, okay. Why'd you give me an envelope?
So you can fold it, put it in an envelope, and hand it to the,
Oh, I don't, never do that,
well, okay.
but I will.
Okay. That's what we do here.
I don't do it that way.
Change it.
I'm sorry.
About thanks.
What was I talking about? Oh, I got lost.
Yeah, you were talking about getting lost.
Was
We
I?
were talking about the budget.
Budget.
and
Oh, the budget.
Being down
So-
a man.
So what would you like to do? Do you want to try to,
There is a request on the highway department for some new,
some new equipment,
new equipment.
some,
Front end loader or 550?
what am I doing?
You saw the bottom line, did you, in the fine print, way at the back and bottom? Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely have to talk about some of those. So do you want to schedule a workshop for right after the holiday, or what would you like to do?
We're gonna have to get
Yep.
done.
Well, it's gonna be 4 of us, because there's no way we're gonna
Yeah,
have.
no, I realize that.
Well, Miss Davis's, you also have a note from that, from Miss Davis, but she is trying to put a town report together. She needs numbers from this office. Budget numbers need to be at least summarized so that you can have some idea of how you're gonna do some spending. In terms of where you are right now and what a level funded budget would look like or how that might impact, I don't know until you know whether you've got a surplus, what your surplus deficit is for last year. And that's something that I don't have any confidence in at the moment. So
Can we probably, yeah.
you're kind of looking at budget numbers and account lines blind.
What do we do next Tuesday?
That would be the 29th.
Ouch. I'm good with the 29th. Anybody have a problem with that? What time do you want to do it?
6.
6-ish? 6 on the 29th for a budget workshop? Is that okay with you, Rob?
Let me check my planner.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So you all do have a folder with all that information in it, if you want to take a look at it. And then you've got bits and pieces, you've got the highway and you've got the listers budget today. So you just have to add that in.
6 o'clock, you said.
Yeah.
Okay.
The other issue I'm not sure how we're gonna deal with here is we have a new contract for rescue. It did not change. It is exactly the same as it was last year. There was no increase in the assessment. But we don't have a quorum that can pass it.
Just table it.
We're gonna have to table it, we're gonna have to wait till we get another member.
Yeah.
So it'll stay like this on the clipboard.
You will?
Word can get back, needless to say, that we still want service.
You
We
guys
have
need to
until
quit
July.
for the day.
Huh?
You need to quit for the day.
Okay. Well, we have until July, and by that time there'll be a new board, so we'll
And
be.
she prep Anita for the influx of townspeople coming in to come in for that.
No, she's sick. She wants you to sign it. She's feeling ill, so.
What are we saying?
She wants that contract.
Oh, the rescue contract. But she's good until July.
Yeah.
What's the
Okay.
problem?
All right.
Anyway, so then we'll table that one for the time being. Is there any other business? The next regular meeting is the 13th of December. Oh my lord, really?
Yeah.
Isn't it the sixth?
No,
The sixth.
It's 13th.
the 13th,
Oh,
second,
13th.
be the second Tuesday. This would be the 13th.
If anybody wants to, on this solid waste budget, the meeting is, public hearing will be the sixth. At Old Ferry Road, 7 o'clock. I believe
Probably
it's-
won't see me there.
I believe it's- Huh?
You probably won't see me there.
Well, it's an all you can eat.
There you go.
Is it?
You gotta clean up that,
At the rubber share? What are we getting? Half-eaten ham sandwich?
all right, if there's no other,
Out of dates. Well, you got a couple.
I make a motion to adjourn.
What?
Well, you got a couple things.
what?
Finance office staffing, and even though you took a network inventory grant, you're not going anywhere with it. If you're not gonna hire Wyndham Regional, are you considering a proposal from them?
I don't think we have any choice.
Well, okay, but you haven't done anything with regard
Okay,
to that.
then, now that we've accepted the grant money,
I'm not.
just be quiet. I wanna go home. So we need to consider who's going to do the network inventory, now that we accepted the grant. So anyone to make a motion that we allow who at,
It's not gonna be until spring with Wyndham Regional at this point.
that's not gonna make any difference,
I understand.
that we allow Wyndham Regional to assist VTrans and Mr. Bostrom with producing a network inventory.
It's gonna cost you $8,000.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any other discussion now that Craig's being updated? Hearing none, all those in favor of contracting with Wyndham Regional to produce a network inventory signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All right, that one's done. Now, what was the other one that you were griping about?
I wasn't griping.
There's nothing to talk about with staffing at this point in time.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
Until we
That's fine.
have the meeting tomorrow. We're
That's
just,
fine.
we don't
Just
need
looking
to
for
talk
some
about it.
clarity tonight.
All right, so again, Kyle, if you can do it now.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Oh,
Pat.
just a minute.
Oh,
before you-
whoops.
I was asked,
Just trying.
they've never heard anything back from the select board or anything on that mailbox over in West Hill, Andreas.
Forgot.
Nobody ever sent her a letter or got back to her or anything?
It was never really resolved. She was gonna come in, hurt her
And she
leg,
didn't come
and
in,
it was
right.
gonna meet with Kurt. Kurt didn't show up one night, and then, because it came down to, you needed testimony from your highway foreman.
From both of them.
And
She
he
never came
indicated
back.
that he had to talk to Ed, that it was rotten at the base and fell over. It never really got resolved.
But you will be getting a post, I guarantee you, next meeting.
Okay, I'm just saying, it never got resolved, and the board, we
Because
kept it on the agenda for a
It
while.
wa-
She
it
came in
wa-
twice.
It wasn't rotten.
Okay.
They broke it once and she fixed it with sheetrock screws.
I wasn't saying it was, I was,
And,
I was repeating
No,
what
but they
Kurt.
said it was rotten.
Well, that's what
it
Kurt
was.
said, but he was,
She will be bringing it in, I'll tell her to bring the post right into you.
But again, or the situation was, she didn't come back with, we had arrangements, I don't know whether it was
It
weather.
was gonna be an executive with Kurt and Andrea. with the
Exactly,
board.
we were gonna talk about it with them specifically, and for some reason, somebody didn't show up. I know Andrea didn't come and neither did Kurt for whatever reason.
Andrea hurt her leg, I believe. She was on
That's right,
crutches
she-
for a
yeah.
while, but Kurt didn't
That
come
was
in.
right after she'd hurt her leg. So yeah, we haven't seen her since then, there's been no other piece.
So I
So,
say, I just relaying what she asked.
yeah, like I said, that's what it was, it got lost in her being hurt and,
And let her know what the story is.
yeah, that we just never came full cycle because she never came back to us after she was able to come into the meeting and we just didn't do it. So, Kyle, again,
Make a motion to adjourn.
That's a 15 guy.
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all. Have a nice Thanksgiving, Richard.